What's up, everybody? Sunday. I've been talking about doing this show, and I have to admit, I tried to do it. Remember, when I got that coughing thing, and so I couldn't really. I was trying to do the video, and I was coughing so much, I just gave up on that. And then over, with the holiday and everything, I just been too busy to do the upload, which means I have to like record it, edit it, do all the stuff. And I just could not find the time. So I figured it would be easier. And then I could finally get you guys a show that I've been promising you for a couple of weeks here on the three types of single women. Now, again, I have to put this disclaimer in there. This is not a study. Okay, there's no scientific anything backing this up. Because people who like to, well, I need to know where you got this information. I need statistics. I need. Okay, you won't find any of that. This comes from this big head right here, and from observing people's behavior, listening to what women say, watching what they do, and paying attention to like the kind of letters that come into the advice column. So if you put all that together, not to mention all the women I know, in my personal life and stuff, you put all that together, it's pretty easy to, to figure out these three types. So let me, see, I keep forgetting to do this. I just love these slides. It's my new thing, right? I just want to do slides. I just love it. I just love it. Let me see here. Oops. Hold on a second. I got to pull them up. I was in such a rush to get the show started. I forgot about that part. So let's see here. Where's my slides? I think my computer needs some work because it's slow lately. It's not good. All right. Now let me get back to StreamYard. And I need to share the screen. Oh, thank you, Maya. Yes, girl, 1,000. Can you believe it? It's like, who in the world has that much to talk about? Okay, we're going to put this on full screen. All right, now let me figure out which one of these I want to do. No, I don't like that layout. I don't like that one either. There we go. Let's use this one because I want you guys to be able to see me, but I also want you to be able to see the slides as we go through this. As people are complaining, well, you show the slides, I can't see you. I don't know what you're doing. I'm like, okay, we can fix that. Don't get upset. No need to be all cray cray. Yes. Shay, I'm sorry for this last minuteness, but I'm glad that you're here. I wasn't sure because everything was so last minute. I just scheduled it like an hour and a half ago. But it's good to see so many of you guys here. So let's get started. So, one of the things that, I anticipate that women are going to want to know is why did you decide to do this show? Why did you decide to do this show? And I think it's important because this is kind of a follow-up to the one I did a couple of weeks ago, where I was talking about the way that play the games that play, the three stages of game and the way that players assess you. This goes into it a little bit deeper because there I talked about what they do. But what I want to talk about today is how they pick you and how they decide what game they're going to run on you. And it's based on with these three types. And I want to be clear here that I'm not saying that any one of these is better than the other because they're each going to come with certain perks and benefits and then certain challenges. It's just no way around it because Dusties don't really care. The ones who want to go for somebody easy are gonna, they're gonna do that. But There are some who really take great pleasure in breaking down a woman's defenses, her self-esteem, and cracking the egg for what they think is somebody who's, too high on herself. So any of these three women are going to be hit on by fools. They're going to try to get played. You may get played, but I'm hoping that at least, this is going to bring some awareness to what's going on and how they're going to run the game on you, and how they choose which person to run the game on. Some women are just really hardcore in their uh, in their category. Let's put it that way, and they're like a checklist. Others are kind of, they have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So it might be a little bit more challenging. So anyway, I want to put all that up front. So before we get started, so that you don't start thinking that you're just pigeonholed in one. You may find that you have traits of all three women, and it varies from man to man, or, relationship to relationship, or depending upon what phase of the moon it is, your age, your maturity, whether you just broke up with. I mean, there's so many variables, but these are generally the three categories that a woman is going to fall primarily into. Okay, so these categories will kind of set out your vulnerability, how they're going to see you as an easy target or not. Like I said, there's going to be those that they don't want the easy. It's more of a feather in their cap if they get the woman who's hard to get. So, it doesn't, you're not going to be immune to it. They will determine which of these three categories, which these three types of women you are, doing what I taught the assessment phase in that other video. I'll try to remember to link to it here so you can just click on it and review that part. This video is designed to increase your knowledge, because to me, the more I can teach you, the more you know when you go out here messing with these men, the more likely you are to be able to handle them in a way that eliminates or at least drastically reduces the emotional damage that you suffer. Okay, because there's no way around it. We all gonna suffer some hurts, ladies. I can't save you from that, but I can at least mitigate it so that the hurt is vastly lessened. You get hurt less often, and you make better choices. That's what our goal is here. And it's a process. It's not like you just watch a couple of videos and then you magically have it and can go out and just conquer the world. It doesn't work like that. Because as you heal certain parts of yourself and gain certain understanding, it's like a layer of an onion. You got to peel away one layer, and then you're going to find that there's some other stuff underneath that you weren't really even aware of. So it's a process. Getting to high self-esteem and realizing what you need to do to handle men and protect yourself is a process. Okay. So let's look at, God, I got too much junk on my desk. Okay. Let's look at, oops, I'm supposed to change that slide. I'm sorry. Okay, this is type number one. Type number one. And I'm going to invite you between each type, if you want to, call in and share a story, or you want to ask a question. Okay, let me do the type first, and then I will, open the floor up between each of the three types. All right. So hold your questions, hold your comments, hold your stories. Okay, for type number one, lady, being single is the equivalent to being like dead. She just can't stand it, not interested, don't want no parts of it. And it's just like a horrific situation. These are the young ladies that men complain about, and they say that they monkey branch. That's, they swing like on the monkey bars, right? Swing from one to the next, to the next, to the next. That's essentially what they're saying, that these kind of women monkey branch, and they go from man to man, relationship to relationship. These are the ladies who cannot stand to be without a man. They always in a relationship from the time they're like 13 or 14 years old. They're never by themselves. They're never really single, or if they are, it's a very short time. And these are also the types that want to throw it in your face, like if there's anything that you criticize about, their dude, or they complain about him, right? So you on her team and you start complaining about him too. She's likely to jump back over to his side and say, well, at least I got a man. It's that kind of mentality. Those are the kind of chicks I'm talking about. Um, they're also the type to be impacted, greatly impacted by the conversation of dusties on the internet, by saying things like, women are washed up at 30. If you single at 30 and you're just going to be single with a bunch of cats and that, that rhetoric they spout all the time. These women are emotionally impacted by that kind of stuff. So they really don't want to fit that category. They are so worried about what some complete strangers on the internet says to them in that regard about them being single. It's unbelievable to me. Why do you care what them clowns say? Who the hell are they? I mean, but these ladies get really affected by it. This is also the type of woman that is greatly impacted and very deeply hurt by complete strangers on the internet, complete like strangers, rappers, all these kind of idiots. They're not intellectual giants. We really shouldn't be paying attention to what they have to say. Most of them flunked out of high school. And so they listening to them, and the women, when they complain about dark skinned women, or black women having happy hair, or wear weaves and wigs, and not having knowing how to be wives anymore, all this kind of stuff. These women are deeply, deeply affected by that, and they will do anything to show themselves to not be that way. These are the women who get online and talk against feminism. Idiots. Okay, because they just kiss it up to men all the time. If you don't sacrifice yourself in order to get some approval and accolades from some random stranger, man that you will never meet. Okay, never, ever, 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 not in 50 million years will you meet any of these clowns you kissing up to. But that's what they do. Okay, and you're a woman and you against feminism, you're a fool. That's all I'm gonna say. You're a fool. These are the women who um are impacted emotionally and feel hurt. You know how dudes online will say, well, you say you're in some kind of discussion, right? And they, one of the things they want to do so they can invalidate your thoughts and opinions. Well, are you married? Well, are you married? They ask you in that tone, right? And so, and they do this a lot on that CH nonsense too. And these women are so impacted by it, they, they get upset, instead of like, well, I don't see no ring on your finger, clown. What you trying to talk about me being single? Yeah, I'm single because I don't want to be with a clown like you. That's why I have standards and you don't meet them. Okay, but she gets all affected. So these are the kind of women that really lack standards, or their standards are shaky. They say they have them, but what they choose reflects something completely different. Okay, so they'll get involved with men who are cheaters, and they know they're cheaters. Think about some of the advice letters that come in. Well, he's cheated on me 5 times in over the course of our relationship, but I always forgive him. Okay, type one. Of men who are abusive to them, men who have one form of addiction or another. Just think about all the advice letters that come in talking about these kinds of issues. Um, these men that have mental illness, they cannot give you any kind of sensible relationship because they can't even be there for themselves. Okay, but yet you are jumping through hoops and bending over backwards trying to create something with this man that he's incapable of creating. They will stay with men who they know are using them for one reason or another, using some about some booty, right? Place to stay, stuff like that. They want to have that man there so bad they let themselves be set up like that. And women who, like, the young girls who maybe they're low income, they have Section 8. They know they're going to lose their Section 8 voucher if this man is caught in their house, but they move them in anyway. And so then them and their kids are homeless behind some man that moves on to the next one. He ain't bothered about her. But, they sacrifice themselves just to have a man. So I'm giving you some examples of behaviors that I have observed and heard about and stuff on social media and in the advice column. These are the ladies, not only do they, sacrifice their Section 8 in some kind of situationship because they just don't want to be single. They will, if a woman, even she's not on Section 8, she's going to move him into her house, right? And you let him get away with not paying his fair share. He's not doing no whole housework. He's not really contributing. Oh, he's kind of looking for work and this and that, blah, blah, blah. So she goes to work all day and she comes home and she does everything for him. She complains, but she don't really do nothing. about it because she's more worried about him leaving than she is being treated fairly. Okay. These women also breed indiscriminately. Okay. I don't know what do people not understand about birth control. Even if you have a an accident, can you not run your behind over to the drugstore, CVS, Walgreens, whatever, and get yourself the morning after pill? You can't do that. So here you are, you done had all these different dudes, and you have a baby by each one of them. Okay, what are you doing? And it's because trying to make something out of a situation using a kid. It just makes no sense to me. Okay, these are women who you see online. Every other word out their mouth is, God bless and Jesus wept and whatever else they be talking about. I'm a Christian woman. Okay, but you sleeping with every random, Joe in town. So how does that work? And then, they want to talk about, well, I need a man to lead me. I'm a submit. I'm gonna do all the stuff. Okay. So you're using that as bait to get some dusty to come into your life who wants to control and stuff like that. But keep in mind, now you say you're a Christian, then all that stuff is only supposed to be reserved for your husband, according to the scriptures that you want to quote so much. Okay, so this dusty bum boyfriend, baby daddy, whoever, he doesn't deserve any such a thing. You shouldn't eat that word submission and baby daddy, boyfriend, whatever, shouldn't even be in the same sentence. You're not married. Okay, so you don't submit to nobody. You done lost your damn mind. Okay, so then these are the kind that will get with a dude, and so the dude love bombs them, right? Or you don't even have to love, he just kicks spit a little game. Well, you and me, we gonna be together, right? Yeah. Okay, you known this clown for a week. You don't even know his middle name yet. You don't know nothing about him, but yet, you want to call him your man and commit to him and jump in and start doing all these wifely things and treating him like he's special and important to you. A clown you've known a week, 2 weeks. Okay. I don't understand that. You, so this part of all that is, you're auditioning. You're auditioning to be a wife. You want to hit them. I've heard women talk about this. Well, I hit them with all this, these crazy sex moves, and they think that's gonna keep him. Because I puts it down. I'm a freak. I this and that, blah blah blah. And the guy, I mean, he's gonna stick around and avail himself of it. But do you think that's gonna keep him there? You talk about a man in his 20s and 30s. Don't you think he's already experienced all that at least 20 times? Do you think what you got is really that different, unique, and special? You have lost your mind. Okay, it's just not. He gonna make it seem like that so because he can keep tapping it until he loses interest and moves off to the next one, and you start that whole cycle all over again. That's not how you conduct yourself. These kind of women are afraid to make a demand. They're afraid to ask a man for anything because they're afraid he's gonna leave them. That's their main concern, is being by themselves. Being single and alone in their mind equates to being lonely. Okay. These are also women who chase after men who don't want them. The man will tell them straight to their face, I don't want you, or he'll start talking about some other woman. He's, looking around at other women, checking them out, sometimes flirting with them right in their face. They know he got another woman, all kind of stuff. But mainly the dudes will just say, I can't do this no more. It's not really working for me. Let's take a break. That's a famous. Let's take a break. And the woman, you all chase after him. You chase him. He don't call you and text you or whatever. You be doing it, trying to pick up the slack and do it. Well, why haven't you called me? Why haven't we? I haven't seen you. I want to see you. Just begging, like a little puppy wagging his tail for somebody to pay attention to you. You're very clingy, even though this is the part that really gets me. Okay, you're distrustful of him because you say you don't trust him because he lies, he cheats, he corner cuts, he does stuff, but yet you cling to him anyway. That's somebody you should be pushing out the door, like drop kicking in the back, like I did my ex. Just push him on out the door faster because he's taking too long to leave. But basically, what you do is enter into a lot of dysfunctional relationships. The type 1 lady enters into dysfunctional relationships, and she will do her darndest to hang on to that man out of fear of being single. You exhaust yourself cooking and cleaning and paying bills, taking care of the kids and everything all by yourself. Basically, you live the life of a single parent, but you have a man there who's, usually the father of at least some of the kids. But he don't do nothing. He doesn't do anything to help you. He's just sitting around waiting for services to be rendered. And you do it without speaking up for yourself, without standing up for yourself, without demanding anything from him, out of fear. You accept struggle love. Your struggle love is just phenomenal. Like you decide that you're going to date somebody that's locked up behind bars for 20 years or something. You're going to date a man with dependency issues or some other kind of affliction. You're going to date a man who's just a lazy bum who can't keep a job or won't keep one. He keep hitting your pocket up. You chase after and date men and get involved with and even try to marry sometimes men who are emotionally unavailable. So you're in a relationship, but you feel lonely as hell. He's not meeting your emotional needs. He has no intention of meeting your emotional needs. He was never going to meet your emotional needs, but you were so afraid to be by yourself that just decided to just deal with it. These are the type of women rather, that will get and try to keep a man around, even if it goes against your morals and values. For instance, he proposes that he wants to do bring a third or fourth party into the mix. You know what I'm trying to say? And you go for it. You acquiesce because you're so afraid if you say no, that phrase that these guys like to threaten women with, or if you're going to do it, somebody else will. You're so terrified of that happening that whatever he wants you to do, whatever way he wants you to demean and degrade yourself, you do it out of fear of him walking away. I'm thinking, you should give him a one-way ticket away from you so he can do it faster. These are also the type of women who'll say they move they have some boyfriend, right? And he messes around with their daughter. They're the kind of to kick the daughter out to keep the man. I know you've heard of situations like that. Having a man around is the utmost, most important thing to these types of women. And a guy who realizes that she is so desperate to have a man is going to use that to his advantage like 9,000. He is going to put her and her kids through so many changes just because he can. All right. So that's type 1. Okay, so that's type 1. Does anybody have any questions or comments on type 1? You can, I guess it would help if I put the link in there, wouldn't it? Okay, if you want to get on the air and make a comment, you have a question about the type 1 woman, there is the link. I'm sorry, I should have done that before. That's the link, Shay, for the show today. Questions or comments about type 1? Type 1 woman. She's saying it's like diabetes. They will fight another woman. Yeah, that's just they chase. They chase a man that doesn't want them. So to me, if a man's got another woman, that means that he's not really tripping about you, right? He's doing his own thing. So you chasing after him is something. Hold on a second. You know what? I forgot to put my. Why am I so disorganized today? I know why. Because this was a last minute show. This was last minute. Hold on, I'm coming. Okay. What's your question?
Hi, Miss Deborah. Yeah, I watch your channel from time to time. This is a really good discussion. I wish my homegirls were sitting right beside me while I play this video in their ear,
Well, you can always give them a link later.
Okay. Listen, unfortunately, a lot of the women that are the type 1 you talk about, unfortunately, it seems like it's the whelming majority of women. And I don't mean to
I
say this is
agree.
disrespectful, but I see literally 80% of the women in the dating market are chasing a small percentage of guys, and those tend to be the guys that are emotionally unavailable, probably have a lot of girlfriends, probably have wives, probably not really serious about a relationship. and unfortunately, a lot of girls are find themselves attached to unemotionally, how's the word you said it? You said it,
Emotionally
emotionally,
unavailable.
yeah, emotionally unavailable types of men. And unfortunately, I don't know if it's a masculinity thing where women confuse the immaturity of a man as he's just defining his masculinity. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But I've run into a lot of type one. Unfortunately, a lot of my homegirls are like that. They get themselves in these relationships, these what I call triangle relationships. In my videos, I talk about this, where they're with a man who is with another woman. There's not like there's always a third woman involved. Like if you
Right.
talk to most of your homegirls, there's always another woman that's involved. Every time they say, "I really like him," but asterisk meaning there's another woman involved. That's facts. Number two, they tell you, oh, they're cheating. This guy's a cheater, or let me give you 1,000 reasons why I shouldn't be with him. But then when you call her bluff and say, okay, well then why don't you date somebody else? Then she flips it and say, mind your own business. I have a man. You need to worry about yourself. Even though I was the one that was asked the question, in the first place. And I'm like, well, why
Right.
would you come to me with your drama when you're the one getting involved? And I lost a best friend over this because she got out of a divorce and she went on what they call a sex binge where she started just randomly hooking up with random guys. And what tends to happen is, and I tell women this all the time because you guys tend to think more emotion based, men tend to think more logic based. Women tend to get emotionally attached to some of the men they're sleeping with randomly. And I told her, she said, none of these guys are taking me seriously. And I said, well, maybe you need to withdraw from sex up front. Maybe you should start just relying on them to put in more work and then seeing work. And then she gets mad at me and hangs up. So it becomes emotionally draining with these type of women to have as friends
What's the
because
age group that you're talking about here?
I'm gonna say
What's
anything
your age group?
probably. Well, I'm 23, but what I'm saying is a lot of women. I'm gonna say millennials and Gen Z women between 19 and about 35 tend to be more in this category. Older women tend to know what they
Okay.
want. Tend to know more about what they want, like predominantly women above the age of 35. But unfortunately, I just have a question for you: is how do women tend to find themselves in the first place attracted to emotionally unavailable men? That's the mystery question I've been talking about on my channel for years. And I was wondering if
Okay.
you can weigh into that. But anyways, I appreciate you for having me on, and I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, and I'm watching the comments. Shout out
Okay.
to everybody, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. This I have a before I go on, let me address this question about why women are so attracted to emotionally unavailable men. The answer to that question is because think about how many young girls are growing up these days without their father. Let's start there. If you have never had that kind of unfettered love from a man, you've always longed for it, for that kind of acknowledgement, acceptance, and that kind of love that a girl can really only get from like a father, maybe a decent stepfather. Sometimes a grandfather will step in, sometimes an older brother, but still it's a male, relative that has no romantic interest in this young lady, this little girl, and he's just loving her because she is who she is. If you grow up and you've always longed for that and you've never had it, when you become a teenager and you're going to go looking for it, a lot of guys who are the player types who like to capitalize on that kind of stuff use that need, that emotional black hole that these young girls have against them. They make all kind of promises and allude to them being around to fill that void. Them being kids, they don't know any different, so they get caught up. But it's yeah, Grace says it's called daddy hunger. What is this on my microphone? Daddy hunger, and it's just the most pitiful thing to see. And because the first person who tells you that you're pretty and smart, and that you're talented and you're this wonderful, and how they love you and all this stuff is your dad. He sets the bar for how high men have to leap to get you. Daddy does that. If daddy's not there, daddy's maybe there and he's on drugs. Daddy's in and out of prison. Daddy is in and out of your life. Daddy's not there at all. There's a hole there. There's an emptiness. And that kind of relationship, that association that she had, her dad was emotionally unavailable. She repeats that pattern throughout her life. And that is the answer to your question. Okay. And as sad as it is, I see that, I don't know, thousands and thousands and thousands of times. It's just really sad. Hold on, Angelica. What's up, Pickles?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm
I just
fine.
want to add to what you're saying. Well, that's good. I want to add to what you're saying. I guess I can say I'm a little bit of a unicorn. I was raised by my father, so I see things a little bit different. But I do have friends or former friends that grew up with both of their parents too, and I considered my, friends' parents like my parents too. And
Hmm.
one former friend in particular, she chased a lot of emotionally unavailable men. Actually, she still does it. And nobody can kind of understand why. So I think it's kind of more so too, like we as especially if you're, kind of like normal in the sense as far as emotionally, we like mystery, we like uncovering truth and mystery. When somebody is a little bit more mysterious and they're not available for you to see their real, true selves or their vulnerability, we feel like we want to be the special people that like uncover that. So I think that has something to do with it too, because not all of us, you know, didn't have a dad in their life. I mean, I was like this at one point too. And like I said, my dad is still my best friend and he raised me. So I think that was more of it for me. And I struggled with self-esteem too. But I definitely think it was like, this person's mysterious. Let me dig deeper and see if I can tap into this person's real self. So I think that has
Girl.
something to do with it.
Okay. But like I said, some dads, I mean, just because they're physically there does not mean that they are emotionally connecting with their daughters. There's a big difference. Being there, giving her an allowance, talking to her, checking her homework, going to PTA meeting, parent teacher night, coach, helping her go to the game and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about. You have to be there. You have to talk to your daughter. You have to have intimate conversations with her about men, about life, about being a woman from a man's perspective, about what's happening in the world. You have to put in time to educate your daughter on what's going on and with the things that she's going to be facing in the world. So few men do that. Even though, like I said, even if they're in the house, they're not really interacting with their daughter on that level. And it requires, men have to be comfortable with their daughters, especially as the daughters' bodies change. A lot of men start feeling, it's confusing to them because it's like she's not like their little girl anymore, and so they kind of take a step back and they're not as involved with her as they used to be. Thanks, Des. It becomes really, really interesting. As far as the young girls who want mystery in the form of a man, read a fucking mystery novel. Okay, Agatha Christie's a great recommendation. There's no need to get that kind of, you want that thing where you solving a puzzle. You know, they have books. You can do those puzzle books. They have books. They have New York Times puzzle. You can do that. And they have plenty of mystery, great mystery authors that you can read and get that side of your, the desire to figure out something and, figure out who did it, who done it, and what's the real story and all stuff. You can get those needs met in other ways that's much more healthy. So that would be my recommendation. But yeah, I understand that. Where's the what? Well, anyway, let me get back to uh, the slideshow. Let me see. Hold on a second. Which one of these layouts did I do? It was this one. Yes. Okay. All right. So we finished with type 1. Type 1 is, woo, just like the young man said, for many, many, many young women, they are all up in type 1. They just, and these are the ones that are so easy to get gamed on. It's just unbelievable. They don't have any kind of game. They have no defenses, and they're just like sitting ducks. And they're not even a challenge for a player. You just roll in, and they can get them into bed in 24 hours, damn near. If their game is tight enough, they make the right conversation and stuff. It's really sad. So I'm hoping that you ladies, that find yourself in this category. I'm not asking anyone to identify themselves. This is all personal. The whole point of this, as I repeat, is just to get you to understand that, loving someone is a decision. Okay. It's not an accident. You decide for whatever reason you have to be with this individual. Then I want you to think about some of the very dysfunctional and self-damaging decisions that you're making for the men that you have selected. Okay, so let's move on. Now we're going to talk about type number 2. This is the type. See how I put the picture up there where she's framing, she's looking at like she's framing the dude, she's measuring them up. These ladies tend to have a script. They have a certain type, a certain thing that they want for them life, like marriage and children. Okay, so every dude they meet, they're measuring him up for marriage and children, and whatever they can do to make him fit. No matter if he's a round peg, they want to try to fit him into their little frame. Okay, these are the women who used to be like a type 3, which I will go into in a minute, but they pretty much gave up. They start to feel very anxious because they see their friends, getting older and everybody's getting married and having a baby or moving in with somebody and becoming engaged and all this. And she's like, one of the few or the only one who's still single. So she starts feeling this panicky feeling, right? A lot of young ladies in category 2 have dropped their standards. They dropped their standards and they start accepting men that are a lot less of quality. The men are lower quality because they are more focused on getting that title of MRS. They want to be somebody's wife. That's all they can think about. It's just unbelievable. Haven't you ever met women like that? That's all they want to talk about. I want to get married. I want to have my family. I want to, so they have like the singular goal for their life, and it's like they're looking through a very narrow lens and not living the rest of their life because they're focused on this one thing. It's just kind of unbelievable. These are the women who are easily convinced. I mean, very easily, since they all focus on this wifely thing, right? To quote, give a brother a chance, even though this guy, they know that he is nowhere near what they're looking for. He's not, no, he's a just no. But they, well, maybe, just maybe, I'm gonna just give him a chance. I'm gonna just see where it goes. I'm gonna just see what he's talking about. And you already know he's a knucklehead and a clown and said some egregious nonsense on the first day you met him. See, I'd be firing folks like that. I just don't have that kind of time to be raising a grown man. I don't understand it. Okay, so these are the women who they're focused on making it work, right? They have to make it work. They will go through all kind of changes. You dating somebody and here you are in, in couples counseling and stuff like that. That's not what couples counseling is for. You just met this clown. Why are you trying to like go through all these changes? Let that fool go. Put him on a string like a kite and then let the string go. Let him fly away. That's what really should be happening. But this is part of the, making it work thing. They just gonna go through all kinds of changes to, reading books and talking to him and trying to get him to change and see his evil ways and all this stuff, just doing the most. It's just unbelievable. Struggle love. That's what she be picking up, some struggle love things, just like category number 1 lady. To the point where this type 2 woman will ignore just blazing red flags, and misery. Think about some of the letters that have come in lately, right? The man, he's in love with some other woman, but yet, she just don't want to put him in win. She want to hang on and, explain and try to get him to see what she means and to stop talking about her and stop seeing her and all some stuff. It's like, lady, just move on. Okay. This man is not, no, he's not really interested in you like that. Or the worst ones, right? The ones that have like down low tendencies, like she's suspicious that he got some, his best friend, he was a little bit too close, and he was sticking up for his best friend too much, and all this kind of stuff. Looks like his best friend is his other woman. I don't, best friend get jealous and stuff like that. Or, he has these issues, whatever's going on. He don't want to sleep with his, supposed to be his lady, right? He don't want to sleep with her. He's busy doing other stuff. Or he has some kind of mental illness, right, that takes him away from the relationship. Or he doesn't want to have children, and you trying to figure out how you can negotiate, or shit, trying to force the issue. Like, remember the letter we had the other day where the girl poked holes in all the dudes, the whole package of condoms? Remember that letter? Trying to force him to be a father, even though he said he wasn't going to be one. Or you want to be married, and he's already told you, I'm not really on that page. I'm not trying to do all that. Some of them might bluntly tell you, I'm enjoying being a bachelor. I'm not really interested in all that. And yet you stay with him, knowing that you want to be married and have children, and he told you he doesn't. Why are you still there? What are you doing? All right. Some of you make excuses, or you downplay and you kind of try to dismiss when he says stuff to you that he shouldn't be saying. Like, he calls you horrible names, he disrespects your opinions, he disrespects your property, damages your property, all kinds of stuff like that. His treatment of you is not good. Okay, but you try to downplay it all, you make excuses, and the way that you present it is like, you get some badge of honor or something because you tolerating nonsense, and like that makes you a good woman because you tolerate his crap. I don't understand that. All right. Some of you will convince yourself that, well, I'm not going to get everything that I want. This is good enough. This is good enough. I have a video on the channel about that. It's called the 70% Man. He's 70% of what you want, which might not be so bad if that 30% is like little things. But inevitably, that 30% becomes like 100% of why you can't stand his behind. 30% is not good. You need a man that's at least 85% of what you want. 90, 95 is even better, because they still going to get on your nerves. Even you love them to death, no matter how close to perfect they are, they're going to get on your nerves. You got somebody who's only 70% of what you want, and that 30% keeps kicking up. You're going to be like, look, I'm out, deuces. That's not good enough. But you do that, you convince yourself that it's good enough. That's as good as I can get at this age. And so some of you are, you succumb to pressure from your family, from society, from your church, whatever, that you be married and that you have this relationship. So you go for it, even though you know that this is not what you want. Some of you will tend to make excuses. You'll make excuses to people for his failures, for his behavior, for his lackings, and for his choices. Some of you even out and out lie to your family and friends to cover for him. You have these excuses like, well, he can't help it because he had a bad childhood. Well, his ex cheated on him. That's why he don't trust women. That's why he wants to look through my phone. That's why he don't trust anything I say, because his ex cheated on him. Or you say, well, he's like that because his father wasn't there when he was growing up. So he just doesn't trust that everybody's going to stay and really love him because of his dad and all the stuff. Well, he's looking for work. He just can't find anything right now, knowing that he's sitting on the couch with the remote in his hand and playing video games all day. He's not looking for no job, but you don't want to tell anybody in your family, your friends, that you with a bum. So you lie to cover for him. This is the kind of man, you get the kind of man that's a half stepper, right? He's a half stepper. I mean, he might work sometimes, but then he quits or he always gets fired. You're the kind of woman, this type 2 chick, you want to go places, right? He don't have no money. So, okay, that's all right, I'll pay. And then you slide him the money, or you slide him the credit card with your name on it big as day. So it could look like to other people that's around watching, like, your man is taking you out. You giving him pub and respect that he doesn't deserve because he's a broke bum. But there you are covering for him, like I said. These type 2 women, you tired of waiting. You're tired of waiting for Mr. Right. So you just settle for Mr. Right now, or Mr. Really just know that you just trying to make it work so you don't be by yourself. You are more focused on getting a ring than you are on the quality of the man that you're getting the ring from. You're the kind that will get a shut up ring because he has no intention of being with you. He gonna give you what you say you want a ring though, but he's not really feeling you. If you had to ask about it and say something, he doesn't really want to be married to you. You should be with a man who's chasing you to marry you, not one that you have to chase. You are so focused on your biological clock. You just feel like you can't be too picky because you want to hurry up a baby before you hit whatever age that you have deemed in your mind is the cutoff age. And you also are prone to dysfunctional relationships. And when you do decide that you're going to get somebody, got somebody that wants to marry you, you are more focused on the wedding again than on the marriage. And important things that you should be talking about, like money, finances, child discipline, religion, where you're going to live, why, what kind of education, things, finding out stuff, what you're going to set up for your kids, how you're going to handle family, in-laws, and handle your relationship and people trying to butt in and stuff like that. Those are important things that you need to discuss to make sure that you're on the same page before you marry somebody. You're not looking at, does this man have integrity? Does this man have emotional intelligence? Can we have a decent conversation and negotiate compromise and conflict well? What are his attitudes towards women? What are his attitudes towards commitment, feminism, communication skills? What's his work ethic? What's his kind of ambition and goals that he have for his life? What's his personality like? Is he dry or is he fun? Where I can bring him around people and they'll enjoy him, or are they gonna be like, ooh, what's wrong with him? What's his physical and mental health like? Okay, because some of these dudes are broke down and having ED and stuff at 30. Or they got, they taking lithium and all kind of stuff, got all kind of mental illness going on. And you want to have a kid, don't you know that stuff is genetic? You're going to have a crazy, messed up kid by that nut? Psh, please. You're not looking at his morals. You're not looking at his values. You're not looking at the relationships he has with his family. You're not looking at how he handles money. You're not looking at, is he even capable of truly loving you the way that you need to be loved? Can he love somebody other than himself? What's his anger management situation? These are all things that you need to consider before you start focusing on a ring and just having a man around, settling for somebody that's 70% man just so you can get married and keep up with your friends. It's a terrible thing, terrible thing. Okay, so let me get over here. That's category number 2. Let me, if you want to make a comment, I see what you wrote, HGD. If you want to make a comment, here's the link. Click that. You can just join by audio, so don't worry about it. And Yasha. Okay, there you go. Oops. There you go.
Hello, can you hear me?
I do.
Greetings. It is an honor to
Greetings.
see you. Yes, Miss Cooper. I love your show. But I
Thank
had a
you.
question. Yes,
Okay.
I became 27 a couple of days ago. And I don't know if you know this as a woman. I do feel pressure because I still have no children. I'm not married because people say as a woman, when you reach the age of 35, you are unable to get children. No man will marry you. So you hear those thoughts and you
Right.
really, okay. But
That
thank
is
you
that is
for,
true.
Mhm.
That's what I said. This is the kind of pressure that gets put on women. But look at the men and the people who are saying that. Are they so ridiculously happy in their marriages? Are they trying to push you
Wow.
into that box? Think about that. Think about that. Be honest with yourself. How many of them are grinning around day after day after day, just thrilled with their husband? How many of those husbands are so fantabulous that you wish you had somebody just like them? These are things that young girls need to think about. Look at the source of the message and people. I think a lot of women try to put you into that box because they're miserable and they don't want you to be happy. They want you to be miserable like them so you have something to complain about. So you can look in the chat room. People are saying that's what they're saying. So, you know, you're only 27. You just turned 27, girl. Please, please don't listen to them. Not listen to them. You have 20 years to have a baby. You know, Eve the rapper, she's 42 and she's pregnant with her first baby. And I'm gonna
Oh,
tell you something. They be talking about, and then I remember, what's her name? The Pointer Sisters. I can't remember what you know their names right now. But she was 45 and she got pregnant for the first time. My grandmother had my Uncle Frank at 52. So, and perfectly healthy children. So, you know, a lot of what you read, these things that they talk about, you know, you can't get pregnant. They talk about white folks. Okay, black women historically can have babies way into their 40s, late 40s, early 50s. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily the best thing to do, but I don't want you to put any pressure on yourself at a mere 27. You're not even 30 years old yet. You have so much living to do, so many things you can do with your time and energy and effort. But like I said, the main thing is, you know, start looking at these people who are putting pressure on you. Look at their situation and you tell yourself how great is what they talking about, that you would want to give up what you got to be like them. And I'm pretty sure you're going to see that they're trying to run a game on you.
thank you
Okay.
so much, Mama Cooper.
Okay. You chin up. You're 27. You're just a baby. Enjoy yourself. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's get Dinah. Dina? I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Yes. Hi.
Okay. What's up, girl?
Thank you for having me. I just want to say to the caller before, I was in the same footsteps because my family was very marriage minded and they put the pressure on me. But, and I fell into a category too and ended up with a guy who married me and gave me a child. Um, but it did not last long term because I was dealing with a guy who did not, keep longevity, you know, and it became a very costly divorce. And being a single mom, it's hard to really find someone who's willing to take on someone else's child. So, for the most part, I would tell most women just wait. If he don't meet, like you said, the 85%, just you know, chill out.
I
Um,
mean, you could date him. You know what I mean? You could hang out with him, but don't look at him as, you know, your dude. He ain't your dude.
right.
It's just something to do. And that's, I think, the mistake women make. You know, they lower their standards. And it's like, if you're really confident in what you need, you know yourself, you know that that's not going to work long term. You know, unfortunately, for you guys, you know, you being so young, if you haven't had a woman in your life like me to talk to you honestly about this kind of stuff and kind of guide you to take better care of yourself, you tend to fall into that trap. And that's why I spend so much time trying to educate young women and support you, you know, as best I can from, you know, the tools I have to take care of yourself and don't listen to other people. Listen to you. You know what's right for you deep down inside. You know, you know this. Just have the courage and the belief in yourself to make your hard choices and those decisions and tell people no, stay out of my life, stay out of my world, stay out of my mouth, leave me alone. Okay? I'll do what I'm gonna do when I get ready to do it. You go there and mind your business. Okay? I know that might not be the most polite thing. You sound like a very polite and genteel young lady, which I'm not. Okay. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can do a lot of nice young ladies, you know, call up in here. And I just hate to see it because, you know, you guys are so sweet. Um, these dudes be just looking for you. They be looking for you, you know, and I just hate that. I just hate it because, you know, you really believe in love and, you know, the fairy story version and your knight in shining armor, your black king, you know, all the stuff. He's going to come and he's going to be all wonderful and it's going to be lovely and all this old stuff. No matter, like I said, no matter how great the man is, he's going to get on your deep nerves. He's just gonna do that. That's what they do. I think they take a class in it. How to get on a woman's nerves 101. And then they just go in there and they just flip through the book and they pick one and then there they go. And you be sitting there looking at them like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? It's just unbelievable. So let me get back to, we're going to go into type 3. In a minute, we're going to go into the third type of single women out there. These are, in case you just wandered in, these are what we're going over is types of single women. 3 loose categories that I think most women fall into. And with this information, guys who are player types can figure out which one of these categories you in and know how to play you. That's why I want you to understand what you're presenting to the world. When they talking to you and they're doing, well, remind me to put that video link. What is the one when we do the one where I was talking about the, the 3 types of players and stuff, the games that players run. When they're doing their assessment phase and they're trying to figure out which one of these women, these groups that you're in, that's what they're doing. They're asking you questions. They're looking, they're studying you like a bug. And you feeling all flattered because you thinking, oh, he's paying attention to me. In reality, he's studying your reactions to the nonsense he says and the games he's spitting and the dreams he's weaving. He wants to see if you light up and if you believe it, how you bite, what you offer, what you gonna do for him. Even if it be something as simple as him saying, oh, well, when you gonna invite me over for dinner? And then here you go. Oh, I'm a good cook. You just fell into the trap. This is your first date, or you haven't even did. You're on the phone. He trying to get into your house so he can be near the mattress and have you feed him. He don't have to spend no money. You bought the food. You carted the stuff home. You cook. You sling pots. You wash dishes. You serve his hungry ass. And then he gets dessert in your bedroom. All for a conversation. But see the way that you responded when you gonna cook for me? He already knew what time it was. He knew that you one of them thirsty types. Yeah, I'm a good cook. I could make this. I could gumbo. All this kind of stuff. They ask me what I'm a cook. I'm like, I'm not cooking for you. Well, if you want a plate, you better go to your mama's house. What am I looking like? Asking women what? Wait, when I'm walking dates and women are going for it. Well, the excuse that they're using for that is COVID. During, when everything was shut down, and that's what people was doing, or they was doing Zoom dates and all this kind of stuff. They had to be socially distant. Okay, well, things are opening back up now. There's restaurants. I mean, they have like every other table open or whatever, but you can still, you didn't make a reservation. You can still go out. Even though you can sit outside. I mean, the weather's been 70 degrees over here this weekend. It's very odd for considering we're going into winter, but it was warm yesterday. It was 70 degrees. And so, people sitting outside and having, sitting at the outdoor tables in the restaurants and stuff like the little out street cafes and whatnot. You can do something like that. You don't have to be walking around in the woods, like hiking and shit with bears and worms and mosquitoes and whatnot. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So, these are the kind of things that I want everybody to understand. I want to repeat. I'm not condemning anybody for any of these types. This information is being presented to you so that you become aware of what kind of image you are presenting to the world and how guys are reading you, how they're categorizing you, and how they're going to run game on you based on how you present in one of these 3 groups. Okay? That's it. That's the whole purpose for the show. I'm not saying any one of these is necessarily better than the other because, each one has its own challenges and its own benefits. I mean, at some point you might just be in 2 or 3 categories at the same time. I don't know. But let's move into the final category, which is category 3. Where's my notes? Here we go. These are the women for who they want a relationship. Sure, they're totally open to it. It's like wonderful. I mean, they think that would be a wonderful addition to their life. But notice it's an addition. It's not their whole life. The way I describe it is like, okay, they got a really wonderful cake that they made already. They got a cake, and the relationship is frosting. But the cake by itself is great. By itself, it's just wonderful. Okay. So, what is the type 3 woman? This is a woman for whom a relationship is nice but optional. She knows who she is as a woman and as a person. She's very comfortable with herself. She's comfortable in her own skin, even with, the things about herself that other people might say is negative or, whatever. She's like, yeah, whatever. That's who I am. Take it or leave it. She's not apologetic for who she is. She has very high self-esteem. She's quite confident that she can manifest what she wants and make her dreams come true. Even in the face of other people telling her that her standards are too high, she's overreaching, she doesn't deserve that. These are all things that you will hear online from Dusties online that want you to lower your standards so they can be included in your recruitment process, even though they don't qualify. They tell you that your standards are too high and that you don't deserve a man like that. That's what they did to Ciara, right? About Russell. Well, since she was a baby mama, she didn't deserve to have no man like that, they were saying. It's that, but they say that to women all over the internet. Okay, so the type 3 lady knows what she needs from a man and from a relationship. She refuses to settle for less because she already knows. She may have done that when she was younger, just, to try it out and just see how it worked. It's like, okay, well, this is a 70% man. I'm 65 something. Let's just see what happens here. Does he rise to the occasion? Does he modify himself? Because, you might have that wiggle room when you're very young, like in college or whatever, because people are still growing and developing into who they're going to be. So if anyone was going to do a 70% man, it should be when you're 25 or less. Okay, after 25, you shouldn't be wasting your time with no 70% man. But y'all still in school, you trying to, you don't have no job yet, you don't have no money. You're still a kid and you're still developing into adulthood. So if, like I said, if you were going to do that, that would be the time to do it. So a lot of these women, people will describe her as too hard, too cold, too cutthroat, too savage, right? She is inflexible. She should give more people a chance, they say. A lot of these people saying this are, like I said, dusties trying to just get a come up, or they're women who are miserable that you are so happy and carefree and have all your money and dress nice and go where you want to go and do what you want to do and have a nicer car than them and don't have no bill collectors calling and all that stuff like they do. So they want to try to pull you into that trap with them. So you can be miserable too. You got to watch that. Type 3 ladies have very strong boundaries for how they're going to be talked to, how they're going to be treated, how you going to respect them, or you not going to be in their life. You're not going to be taking them for granted, and you're not going to be overstepping, where your envelope, stepping out your envelope. You're not going to do that because they have very strong boundaries and they don't mind telling you about yourself and putting you back in your envelope. So, these ladies typically don't have any problem if a guy misbehaves or doesn't perform as he promised that he would. They have no problem with nexting him and just moving on to the next dude. They're not going to chase him. They're not going to negotiate with him. They're not going to beg him to change. They're not going to try to explain over and over and over and over and over. They're not going to waste their energy like that. They just go next dude and be like, yeah, well, yeah, you on some bullshit. So let me just deuce out. These type of women are usually surrounded by loved ones. I mean, they're not looking for a relationship to provide all of their emotional needs. They have loving friends, they have sorors, they have church members, they have neighborhood buddies, the next girl who lives next door, whatever, they hang out, childhood friends that they've had since they were 4 or something, that still live by their mama's house. They have people around them that support them and encourage them and provide them with laughter and companionship and stuff like that. So even if they don't have a man in their life, their emotional needs for closeness, conversation, communication, and companionship are still being met, right? And that's an important thing I think a lot of women overlook. They look for a man to give them all that, to the point even where they start, like if they get with a new relationship, they ditch their friends, stop hanging out with them, cancel on them and all kind of stuff in order to be up under this man. And then when that relationship blows up, which it inevitably will, then here they are back in their friends' face thinking that they're going to just pick up where they left off. And the friends are like, no, you just put me on the shelf to go chase after that knucklehead that you had just met. I'm done with you. So they end up, missing out. It's being very stupid. Basically, the type 3 lady has a fulfilling life. It's full of learning and joy and laughter and doing what she wants to do, things that bring her pleasure and happiness. Okay, peace of mind, all that kind of stuff. She's happy with herself and she's happy with her life choices. But, she may occasionally consider things like reflecting on her life. Well, I had an A and a B choice. I chose B. I wonder what would have happened if I chose A. So she might reflect on that and, daydream about it, whatever. But she's not going to be beating herself up about it. Like, oh, you dummy, you should have chose A. You should have chose A. She's not going to do that, because that kind of beating yourself up and demeaning yourself like that lowers your self-esteem. And a woman who's, this kind of confident, she's like, okay, well, maybe not have been the smartest decision, maybe not have been the best one. It took me long to get where I was trying to go, as I discovered, whatever. But she owns what she did, and she just, is fine with it. It's fine. That's all of these challenges and things that she overcame made her the woman that she is today. And so she embraces everything about herself. All right. She is willing to learn from the mistakes of others. She don't have to do everything herself. She listens to her elders and she watches the experience her friends have, and she's like, oh no, I shan't be doing that. Okay, she ain't trying to be stupid. She refuses to settle for the 70% man. The guy who's kind of good in some ways, but the but. And if you want it, like I said, there's a video on the channel, the 70% man. Just type that into the search thing for the channel, the videos for the channel search, and it'll pop up. She keeps her options open to love within her range of standards, okay? Because her standards are more based on intrinsic values of morals, character, integrity, these kind of things. So she's focused more on that than the man's race, the man's height, the man's age. Like I said, we know within reason she's, but there's the other standards are more important to her than those things. And I think, again, I look at, Eve the rapper, because, if she hadn't had her options and kept her mind open, she would have never been with Max. And they've been married like forever at this point, finally expecting a child, because he got his 3 kids from his other wife. That's like her, she loves them kids and they love her too. But now her and Max gonna have a baby. And she kept her options open. I mean, a little hood rat rapper with a guy who's like a world-renowned race person. I mean, who would have ever thought that? But she kept her options open, and it happened. So that's the kind of stuff I mean. You preconceived notions about what you must have. Those kind of things should be limited to important character traits. Okay, then that's the internal things that the man is. What's on the outside, be flexible. Okay. The type 3 woman tends to be, very well adjusted and confident. She's very resilient. She doesn't like break down crying about every damn thing and feeling all pitiful and whining all the time and being all just stupid. That's not her. She's like, well, let's do this, let's do that. She's solutions oriented, and she's got ideas for how to make things better. And I really like, if her friends listen to her, they could save themselves a lot of drama. Some of them do and some of them don't. This lady tends to not put her life on hold waiting for a man. Have you heard women say, like, they don't want to travel someplace because they want to do that with their husband? They don't want to buy a house because what if I, get married and then I already have a house that's going to cause a problem? There's things that they put off for themselves in their life because they want to wait for this man that's not even on the horizon yet. So they're putting their whole life on hold for a man who might maybe possibly come down the pipe years from now or decades from now. It's very weird. The type 3 lady demands her respect, and she does not take any nonsense for people. That doesn't mean she has to be like me and cuss everybody out. I'm not saying that, but she will definitely check people. Remember, like in the Huxtables, how Claire Huxtable would be like, oh, blah, 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 right, and she would just check people, and her expression wouldn't even change, but you just feel like you about this tall. That okay, she's gonna be like that, where you just walk away saying, I think I just got cussed out, but she didn't cuss at me, but I still feel like she cussed at me. Is gonna be like that, okay? This lady is very focused on the fact that she's not going to be depleted in a relationship. She's going to do what I said, women should do, and she's going to mirror the energy that he gives. So if he only half calling, she only gonna half return the calls. She's not gonna be chasing him down. He don't ask her out, she's not gonna ask him out. That's for sure. Stuff like that. You guys, some of you pick up where the guy drops the reins. He drops them because he's not interested. And then you pick him up and want to drive the ponies on home all by yourself. It was supposed to be a relationship for two. So bottom line, the relationship number 3 lady, type number 3, is she just not pressed. She's not pressed. And a lot of guys prefer that because it leaves space for them to pursue her. And the guy, a guy who is confident about himself wants to feel like the woman that he got was challenging for him to get. He had to prove himself. She wasn't just about the BS, because he knows then that if he had to put in work to get her, he's gonna have to put in work to keep her. And the work that he put in, he knows that not every dude is gonna do that. So he's not as concerned about her going off with some other man as a type 1 or 2, the guy with a type 1 or 2 relationship would be, because he knows her hand is so easily turned. If she gets flattered enough, she can leave you because this guy made her feel good. He told her that she was beautiful, and you 10 times a day, and you only told her 2. That kind of stuff. Okay. It's really interesting. So, bottom line, you just got to think about, which one of these types are you? I want to reiterate one more time. I'm not saying that any type is better, because each comes with, a unique set of benefits and a unique set of challenges or problems. Each one is going to encounter different obstacles, okay, to get to where you want. Everybody's going to have something. It's just going to be different. You and only you can determine which one is going to work the best for you emotionally, mentally, financially, physically, spiritually. That's all on you. You have to decide that. But I caution you to give it some serious thought and think about some of the choices that you've made in the past and how they left you feeling. Please do not repeat those things that just left you feeling just destroyed. I mean, you can't keep treating yourself like that and think that you're going to come out of it on the other side, feeling good about yourself. It doesn't work like that. You have to take good care of yourself and respect yourself in order to have a relationship, as a positive relationship with others. It starts with you. Okay. It starts with you. And the types, as you go through these, you might, as you mature, like maybe when you're really young, you was type 1, and then you like, oh, hell to the no. At 28 or so, you switched over to type 3, and then, okay, well, now you're 40, and you're like, so you kind of migrate to type 2, between 2 and 3, you're not really sure, you go back and forth, so there's most women, I think, are going to pass through at least 2 of these phases over the course of their lifetime. My goal here is just to make you aware of what these types are, how men can use those types to play you, and how you basically could play yourself because of how you think about yourself and the kind of choices that you make. So bottom line for me, though, is, if you're operating out of fear, you're making choices out of fear, you're not loving yourself. And you can't really love somebody else if you're fearful of losing them. That's not love. That's some kind of weird, sick attachment that's based in fear. You will bend over backwards and do everything, anything degrade yourself, demean yourself, disrespect yourself, spend all your money, sacrifice your health, your body, sometimes your kids, because you want to keep this man. All of that is a fear-based operating system. Loving someone takes courage. Loving someone means that you're putting yourself on the line and risking being hurt, within reason. You can't really love unless you're willing to put yourself out there and take the risk. And a lot of people just aren't. It's not. So, yeah, if you're the lady, your chief number one fear is of being alone. You're gonna make some very odd choices, and you're gonna create a lot of problems for yourself. It's just not gonna work for you in the long run. It's just not gonna work. So that's what I have to say about that. I think, there's this phrase called standing in love. You stand in love versus fall in love. I think that's very appropriate here because, if you're standing in love, you're making a choice, you're walking a path, you are determined to do, something that you think is the right thing to do for yourself. And it's a position of strength. When you're loving someone, it's a decision that you have made to be strong in your conviction and to let that person know how you feel about them. You're taking the risk of bearing your soul with the possibility that they might not feel the same, or they might be kind of starting to feel that way, but they're not there yet. Do you have the patience to wait? Are they even on that path? Can you tell? Are they flat out told you, I'm not interested in that? And then what do? If you're standing in love, you standing in love for yourself, just like you love them. So you say, okay, well, I can respect that. Thank you for respecting me enough to tell me that up front. And, it's been really, really wonderful knowing you. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope all your dreams come true. And you really mean it because you're loving them and yourself enough to tell, to share that truth. And I think that's a very important thing. A lot of women don't have the courage to do that. They're like I said, operating out of fear. So you want the guy to give you what you want, and you go through all kinds of changes and make sure that he sticks around. Yeah, it's really nice that that you want to love somebody, but love is not enough. Not enough. You got to have all those other components that I talked about, and the main thing you got to do is love yourself. So. Anyone else have any questions? This is the URL. Do you have a question? You have a comment? You have a story about how you move from one category to another that you'd like to share? We're open to all of those. Thank you, Miss Buckner. Yes, dropping them gems. You're right. You're right. I'll be trying. Oh, look at I see all them super chats up there. Thanks, you guys. Anybody got a comment? I'm open to hearing them. Yes, self-love is definitely the best love. It's definitely the best love. I'm telling you. If you don't love yourself, you just gonna be up creek with no paddle and no boat. Just swimming in poo 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 poo. And that poopery doesn't smell good. But that was my video, and I think it's better. I think it was better to do it as a live stream than to do it as a recording because I can interact with you guys more. Yes, you're right. Type 3 women have the clearest skin, lowest blood pressure, best fat to height to weight ratio. They take care of themselves. They just don't have all them dramas. Okay, let's see this question right here. How do you keep emotions out of dating? I have a video on this channel called Control Your Emotions. It is a foundational one that I recommend that all women who are new to this channel watch, because every piece of advice that I give is based on you controlling your emotions and thinking. Okay. You cannot be out here in this dating world with your heart on your sleeves. That is just not gonna work. You're gonna be roadkill. These dudes are there's so many narcissists in the dating world these days. It's not even funny. I went to my friend's house yesterday and made jambalaya for them, and we were talking about the current singles situation. They are married, but we was talking about it, and just the narcissism and how it impacts. So the guy has two sons, or in their early 30s, and one of them's got a woman he's engaged to, and another one is single. But they're talking about all their friends and stuff and the drama. I'm like, this is just crazy. These people are weird. Something's wrong. Something is wrong. Well, hey, Josie. Yes, I like this color too. This is one of my colors I was talking about. I like. When somebody asked me what was my favorite color, and I said black, purple, and whatever this is, wine, burgundy, whatever. This is one of my new favorites. Yes, control your emotions. I don't have the URL, but if you go to the top of the channel, it says, search this channel. Just type control your emotions in there, and it should pop up. And take a look at that. Take notes, and before you date anyone else, get up on how to do that. Dark red, oh, that's not what they call it. They call it burgundy wine or something. Let's see, what is this? Oh, oops, I did it wrong. I noticed that men want you to mule for them. Oh, yeah. They want the type 1 chick. I'm telling you, the type 1 chick is what they're looking at, because she will do any and everything to keep a man. That's what they want, because they're lazy bums. If you don't want to do nothing, what's the best thing for you to do? Get a woman who's willing to do everything for you, like a second mother that you get to bone. That's what they want. Please, you starve waiting for me to cook for you and clean. I'm not your mama. Everybody got a color, maroon. Whatever. But anyway, whatever this color is, and plus there's one I have like a slightly more red than this that I like too. It's got a little bit more red in it. So I don't know, whatever color it is, I like it. Okay, that's my lipstick matches too. Yeah, it's just, yeah, they love type 1s. Type 1s are the main women that get gamed on. So if you recognize yourself as the type 1, because the type 3 lady, they got to put in too much work. Like I said, there are some master players who are going to see that as a challenge, and they're going to go after the type 3 lady. But 99% of the time, she's going to shoot them down, and they just going to leave with their tail tucked between their legs. But the type 1 woman will take anybody and anything that spits the right kind of game at her. All he has to do is tell her that he was looking for a woman like her, and he needs a woman who, a proper woman who knows how to submit and all this old dragon drama. And she's right in there just doing everything, just giving him everything, and just taking care of him like they've been married for 27 years. It's the most wildest thing. It's just unbelievable. Thank you, Leandra. Hopefully he can do that. That would be great. They have all these people that do all this, like these angel investors and stuff. And they're like, just to pitch us. And I'm like, God, if I could only think of a pitch. But the thing I want to get on TV. That's what I want. But then I'm thinking I'd have to be on cable, because my language barrier. I would have to be on I'd have to be on cable. I could be on network TV, not in my mouth. But that's fine. But that costs a lot of money. And you have to be able to get the advertisers so they can get their money back and stuff. And I'm not quite sure how that would work, but whatever. Submit to the mattress on the floor, multiple baby mamas and bad breath. Shut up, princess. She right though. In a lifetime of brokenness and ramen. No, let's not do that. I do, Charlene. I admit it. And you know what? I don't apologize for it either. People be like, you should do something with your mouth. And you out your mouth. I'm like, hell to the no, I'm not gonna do nothing about my mouth. Why don't you do something about your delicate ass ears? I'm like, please. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I appreciate you, everybody, rolling through here, even though it was so last minute. I was kind of embarrassed about that, but I see that you did show up, and so I am very happy about that. I was on a talk show before, so she said they put you on you saying too much truth. But Kristen, I was on, let me see, what was that woman's? Oh, this was years ago. Sybil Shepherd used to have a talk show. I was on her show twice. And I've been on, like, I don't even know how many yeah, because it was nice because they fly you down to LA and they put you up in a hotel, they pick you up in a limo and everything. I was on her show twice. I don't know, that show only lasted about a year though. And then I got an invitation to be when Montel used to do his show, but for something happened, I couldn't make it the day that they wanted me to, so that fell through. And then who else's show was I on? I don't know, I was on some different radio shows with like Al Joyner. I was on CNN before. They interviewed me about my article on the Black Church, how the Black Church teach Black women single and lonely. That article went viral. So I was on CNN, and I was on with Michael Eric Dyson and Al Joyner them, and I mean Tom Joyner them, and Al Sharpton. So I made the rounds because they all very Christian and stuff, and they was really kind of upset about that article. But you know me, I just went from place to place, and then they did a coverage of that whole article, like a 3-part series on this Houston TV station. It was wild. I just never thought that people would be, that upset about it, because it's like, it's the truth. But you got these pastors in there taking all these women's money and telling them that they need to be with a man in the church and all this old stuff. That article, anyway, I morphed it into a whole book. So if you want to read the book, not morphed it, expanded it. It's called The Black Church, Where Women Pray, Pray, and Men Pray, Prey. And it was released about 2 weeks before all that Eddie Long crap and that what's that man's name? Creflo Dollar fiasco broke. So the timing was perfect, and everything I talked about in my book was projected in those 2 scandals. It was like on cue, like book scandal. It was unbelievable. So the book is available on Amazon if you want to read it. You can just order from there. And yeah, I could be on Netflix, HBO, something like that. But I don't know if Netflix do like daily shows. I know they do movies, they do, series and stuff, but I don't know. I think that I would let me see. This looks like an interesting comment. Exactly. Exactly. Bing, bing, bing. If I had a dishwasher, you would win it, girlfriend. Because I've often thought that same thing too. Because, no matter what, it's always bros before garden tools. And so, you got a woman busting out men's games and telling women how to protect themselves. They ain't trying to hear all that. They don't want women to do that because it, just like you said, it makes them not have as much prey. They can't use women who are smart and educated and can anticipate what they're going to say in the games about to run. They can't stand that. What would our homosexual friends do? What would they do if they had to live in the park and stuff and wasn't about to get in nobody's Section 8 housing? You know? Uh-oh, let's see what this happened here. Your boss is a fool. I told women, when I wrote that book is about 10 years old now. I told women when they, instead of donating that money to the church, why don't you all pool your money and invest in some stocks, some mutual funds, start some funds for your kids so they can go to college. Do something, buy it, a rental unit, and y'all form a little corporation or something and buy a building. Why don't y'all do something like that with your money that's going to benefit you and your kids for the next generations? Why would you give some Jack Lake pastor all that money? Tithing 10% of your income. You should be tithing 10% into a savings account for your kids. Not for some man to drive, you catching a bus and driving a Toyota and he driving around in a Rolls Royce. I wish I would. So anyway, all of those kind of things are discussed in the book. And there's all kind of testimonials from people, like about 100 testimonials in there from people all over the country that, that I talked to or wrote to me to share their story of how they got taken advantage of. Let me just be polite. They got, taken advantage of, or just downright abused in churches. And it's like all over the country. And it was just a hot mess. So I don't know, people, I'm like, I don't tell people what to do. You do what you want to do. But from my perspective, it makes no sense for Black women to do that. You want your kids to have stuff, the daddy ain't contributing to it. What you doing? Giving it away to another man. Why would women support a man? Why would where they do that at? That's pimping. Okay, you don't give men money. You don't help men. I done said that 900 times. And I don't care if he's at the front of a pulpit or not. You giving him money, you helping a man. And they're like, well, that's my church. No, help yourselves. Y'all get together and help your kids. Save your money. How do you like to? Oh, I don't think you can on here, Ravania. I understand, but it's Miss Pickles with the word. Yeah. Well, they have a hard time. I put up there I was on Clubhouse the other day and I forgot this man was saying some raggedy stuff. And I just interjected and said, that ain't true. He talked about women, all sleeping around and, this and that. If you ain't got a man, you sleeping with somebody, this and that. I like, you know what? It don't even matter because women don't be doing that because 99% of y'all can't fuck no way. Oh, what did I say that for? He got so upset. Like, you ain't hitting on shit. You watching all that popcorn and you want to imitate what you see and think that's, making somebody be satisfied. That's some bullshit. So then he started trying to call me names. I cussed his ass out. He was every kind of monkey that I could think of. And I just went smooth off. I didn't even care. And people are like, well, you shouldn't be saying that. That's unprofessional. They asked me if I give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I cussed his ass out. Yes. I know it's true. Tita, I'm telling you. And they all be thinking that they just slinging. They just slinging. They just really believe that. It's like all the women be faking, dude. They be faking. So stupid you don't even know when somebody's faking. It was just unbelievable. But y'all cussed his ass out. It was it was so bad that the other dudes who was on the line was like, damn, they're laughing at him and stuff. I cussed he lost his mind. He trying to tell me nothing, calling me a name. He could have just said, well, I disagree or something like that. I wouldn't have cared, it would have been just whatever. But he just was like, gonna start trying to call me names and stuff. Oh no, little Negro, you obviously don't know who you talking to. Exactly, Angelica. That's like a oxymoron. Oh yeah, yeah. They don't like it when you hit them with logic. They are quite used to, as I have discovered, women who, if you listen to the women on, they not the sharpest chicks in the box. There's a few, but most are not. And they're used to interacting with those kind of women where they make these little, ribbing comments and the women fold because they're not used to arguing and they don't think fast on their feet. I was captain of the debate team, so I can argue you down, and I think really fast on my feet, and I know a lot of stuff. So there's not too many arguments I'm gonna lose. Not in a situation like that. You're gonna talk about jet propulsion or something. Well, I'm gonna sit down. I'll sit down on that. But just this little regular stuff we be talking about, please. There is not a man that's been born that's can out talk me. That man has not been born yet. Yeah, I have one more month. This month of December, I'm going to continue. I promised myself I would make it through the end of the year On December 31st, I'm going to do my last clubhouse show, and then I'm going to be deuced out. I can't take it. It's just too much for my nerves. I'm going to delete the app off my phone and off my computer and be done. So I'll try to set up a show or two over there so you guys can, we can have a good time, and I'll make sure everybody knows the channel so they can come over here, because this is where I'm gonna be. I'm not gonna Debsterism, the same as here. I'm really not creative. So I got Debsterism on here, Debsterism on what's that stuff I'm on? The little purple thing. What is this thing here? Discord. I'm Debsterism on Discord, which I rarely use. I don't even know. My daughter set it up for me. I'm Debsterism on Twitch. That's me. Okay, so you see Debsterism somewhere, that's 99% of the time gonna be me. And yeah, taking boxing lessons, I heard that. It's always good to know how to throw a punch. So anyway, we're just rambling on and talking about miscellaneous straight things, but be here on Tuesday, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's 9 if you're on the East Coast. We're going to be doing our What the Fuck Tuesday. And, before you go, please make sure you like the video. Share a link. Don't have to be this one. Any will do. And then subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all subscriptions and all your support, all your super chat donations, and everybody who's helped out by sending links around and helping to get the channel. Our next big goal is 30,000 subscribers, which I'm hoping that we can do by the end of February, when February closes up. And we do have a theme. It's called Winning at Life. That's going to be the theme for February of 2022. That's Video a Day February. For those of you who are unfamiliar with it, we do a video every day for the month of February. It's either a live stream, guest interview, panel discussion, upload, something. Something is going on the channel every single day for the month of February, which we took the F off and replaced it with a D, and it's February for me. That's so creative. That creative genius. Okay, so you guys, thank you once again for coming all last minute and everything. I hope you learned a lot here. If you want to take notes, please go back and listen to the video again. I added some things that I put as much on the slide as I could fit. But it should be some really good information for those of you who aren't really sure how to handle yourself and avoid the games that these dudes be playing. All right, I'll see y'all on Tuesday.